feel like I struggle to make decisions just because I want to do so many things. I want to do so many things because I'm like genuinely interested in doing so many things. Right now, I feel like I'm facing one of the biggest decisions in my life. And the decision I'm trying to make right now is whether to go after the things that I'm really interested in and pursue a life that is more creative, the life of what many would consider as an artist, or pursue things that I think will bring some kind of financial return. In the long run, they'll benefit me in a financial way. I'll have a way to support myself outside of just my career. And I'm really struggling with it. I don't know the answer. So I'm gonna go for a walk. It's funny how things become more clear as soon as you actually start getting out and doing something. Like as soon as I started filming, before that, when I was even walking with the camera in this backpack, what I was doing just felt right. And I was no longer questioning whether or not I should be doing exactly this, or if I should be pursuing a creative endeavor or doing stuff that is going to be like financially rewarding. Like that whole conversation just disappeared as soon as I pulled out this camera. I think that's a pretty good lesson. If you ever find yourself just like wondering what to do, maybe you just start doing what you think you might want to do, and things should become a little bit more clear. At least that's what I just experienced just right now. I think for me, there's also just something about being outside, like just being out here in the outdoors. It's very grounding. I feel like sometimes when I'm just in front of my computer and trying to make decisions, it becomes very hard because everything is just kind of digital or not real or hypothetical. But all of a sudden, at least I found when I get outside, things start to make a little bit more sense. It's interesting because I feel like what these vlogs have been missing is a little bit of creativity. And I feel like what I've been doing more in my life recently is working on skills that bring some kind of financial return. And so maybe the answer is not necessarily going in one direction or the other, but finding some kind of balance between the two. At least that's what I'm feeling from being out here right now. I've wanted to come out here and do some filming like this for a very long time, and I just haven't really come out to this area on Lake Michigan because, I don't know, I just haven't made time for it. I've been too busy focused on my job and all the other things I'm trying to do, and I haven't gotten out here yet. And I think just being here in this environment, it feels right. It's also really interesting filming out here just because there's like people running past, there's things that are changing, there's jets that are flying by, and they're changing the audio on the camera, and I'm thinking as I'm filming this, is this what I want? Like, do I want all of this extra sound, all of this extra commotion going on? And I feel like in part I should limit it. Like I should be wearing a lav mic or something that just makes my voice be more of what you hear. But I also think that might be one of the things that I'm dealing with, which is maybe this need to figure out what direction I'm going in with my life is not as much something I need to figure out. And maybe what I need to do, like what I need to do with this film, is just be okay with whatever happens, allowing that to be what it is. It's a control thing. So maybe by just letting this film kind of play out the way it does, that will actually allow me the creativity that I'm looking for, even though in the background I can hear another 747 coming this way. It's actually a 747. But I think that is one of the reasons that we struggle with making decisions, because it is a control thing. We want to know what it's going to look like before we start. We want to know the outcome of both possible options, and we want to be absolutely sure of the direction that we want to go in. And that's just not the way life is, or at least that's just not the way life has been for me. Like, you don't know. you're not going to know if what you're doing is the best option. And so I really do think for anybody who's struggling to make a decision, the best option is just to get started, start on one of the directions. Like, you can always decide to pull out and pivot and go another way. Like, when I came out and started filming today, I immediately started feeling better. I feel like the reason we struggle to make decisions is because we're spending too much time trying to make the decision instead of actually doing the thing and figuring out if we like it or not. We tend to think of making decisions like this, a web of pros and cons. And I actually don't think that's how we make decisions in practicality. Like, that seems like how people make decisions in movies, but we don't really make decisions like a yes and a no answer. It's not like an A or a B on a test. How it actually works in the real world is we start doing something and we decide if we like it, and if we don't like it, we stop doing that. And so maybe at least what I'm starting to realize for my current dilemma of what I do, whether I continue pursuing things that bring some kind of financial return or whether I start doing more creative work, the answer is kind of a both and. I do more creative things, see how that feels, and do things that bring me some kind of financial return and see how that feels. And whatever net feels and works the best for me, I'll do more of that. But I can absolutely say from being out here right now, the thing that I need to be doing more of, and it's funny because as I'm filming this, I've been able to make this decision. The thing I need to be doing more of right now is doing more creative work like this, and maybe just take the focus off a little bit on what people would call a conventional career. Because I think I do have that fairly dialed in, and the thing that I'm longing for now is this creative outlet. Ooh, there's one more thing I want to show you while I'm out here. You can't really see it too well, but as the light fades out there are all these sailboats just out on the horizon, and it's absolutely gorgeous. I can remember when I was in high school, I always was really interested in two things, and that was some kind of creative outlet like this and sailing. And when I was in high school, that manifested itself in, I would do a bunch of paintings of sailboats. And one of the paintings I did of sailboats looked a lot like this scene right now. It was at dusk, and the sailboats were out racing for an evening. There were a bunch of pinks and blues, just like there are right now, and it's just really special. It's pretty cool to like be out here now, seeing a scene that I painted a long time ago. I think that's one of my favorite things about creativity. You can find yourself in the creative work before you ever actually really find yourself in the rest of your life. So your creative work can like show you things that you might really want or you might be interested in before you ever actually materialize those things in your life. And I think that's why I do this kind of work. I think that's the point of all this to me. It's helping me realize how I want my life to be. It's a tool to help me make decisions by and through reflection. And I think that's one of the greatest gifts of creativity. Like sometimes when you look back at, or when I look back at my creative work, I can see I made a decision that I was so worried about already. Be interesting to go back and edit this together. Be like prime time, things happening in real life, you know? It's like the cool thing about filming is life and reality come together. All right, it's getting pretty dark out here, so I'm gonna leave you here for now. Thank you so much for watching. Best of luck making your own life decisions, and I'll see you next time.